Joining us now in Studio B, a member of the BYU men's basketball team, fresh off the Cougars' best performance of the season to date in a 95-80 win over Utah State. He is a captain and senior, Luke Worthington. Luke, welcome back to the show.
Luke.
Thanks a lot. Glad to be here.
Okay, we were just talking during the break about how the media loves when they find out about a players-only meeting, because typically that means like, hey, we're kind of ratchet things down, we're going to figure it out, and we're going to come out, we're going to play hard. And it worked out.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about the players meeting that you had a big part in calling?
Yeah, it was, it clearly, as you guys were able to see, it was really beneficial. But that started on Monday. So we actually held the meeting on Monday. And after the Weber State game, a lot of conversations are had between players, between coaches. And then there's also influences from the outside. A lot of people like to say stuff. So we just wanted to get together, and ultimately, if there's going to be any kind of change, it's got to come from us, from inside. So anyway, we thought that would be the best option, and it really worked out. Started the meeting and kind of just had this open format where everyone could contribute, kind of say their piece, and I was hoping it was going to be kind of this cohesive message, and it wound up being pretty cohesive. Everyone brought in these different elements that I think helped us to change and get a lot better and have an amazing practice on Monday and prepare ourselves for Utah State.
Were the changes that you guys talked about, were those in line with what the coaching staff was kind of discussing, or how did that play out? Yeah,
I also had conversations with the coaching staff. You always want to make sure you're in line with them. But I think everyone was kind of on the same page. It was this needed effort and defensive mindset and several different things that played into it. But ultimately, being personally accountable, being accountable to your teammates as far as the effort you're giving on both ends of the floor. And I think, again, everyone made these really significant contributions, and we walked away really happy with the conversation. So
a lot of people are happy with what manifested on Wednesday night in that 15-point win against a really good Utah State team.
Yeah. From
what you could tell after the film review and talking about that game, what did you do different defensively to put yourself in a position to win an important game?
We played about 30 to 35 minutes of really, really lockdown, together defense. And they didn't have an answer. We sent out different guys, McKay, Nick, different guys to really frustrate their best player in Sam Merrill. And he had, 4 points in the first half, had an awful half, which made us all really happy. We love when the other team's players have awful games. So he wound up with 17, but it was after he started to have to hunt shots and kind of change the dynamic of the offense. And ultimately, we had a chip on our shoulders. It wasn't this completely different schematic thing. It was, we really want to beat Utah State. It was like this deep, fiery passion, and there were these things said, fortunately, from them that actually motivated us a little bit more about, oh, you guys don't really want to play D, and you don't know how much a few words can do to motivate a team.
So you had heard some things they said. Was it in the media or on social media or something?
There were some things said directly from
the game?
From one of their players to one of our coaches, and he used that a little bit to fuel the fire. And
before the game?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever come out of a locker room with more of an edge. So our team was ready to go, and we showed it because we were up 20 at the half. So.
It was the best performance of the season by far. It was this cornucopia of storylines too, because it was like, okay, Utah State rival, 7-1, coming off of giving up 113 to Weber State. Yeah. Nick Emery's back.
Yeah.
Did all that play a role as well? The players only meeting. You guys kind of said, okay, this is a moment. We got to rise to this.
Yeah. It kind of worked out perfectly. And I said to a few of the guys, just like how in a game basketball is a game of runs, a season can be a game of runs, because teams, unfortunately, as much as they want to win every game every single year, they have skids sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think we're really fortunate to have had what some would call a skid early in the season. Teams that we did not want to lose to, that we didn't anticipate losing to, but that happens every year to every team. So fortunately, it happened now, before we get into conference, before we play these big opponents. And it happened at a pretty awesome time in the fact that we get to play two opponents that we really want to beat. I mean, no one wants to lose to in-state rivals, especially like Utah State or Utah. So it was this pretty perfect moment. And then the addition of Nick as well, who brings this, great energy, and he's a great player. And so it all worked out really well this week so far.
Yeah. What was your perception and your take on the performance overall by Nick Emery on Wednesday, and the ovation he got when he went in and he knocks down his first three, and then he has a steal and an assist in like 30 seconds like that? You can't make that stuff up.
Yeah.
That was crazy. What'd you think about all that?
It was so awesome. I was so happy for him. I just went aside, and obviously we've had plenty of conversations over the time that he's been coming back, but I just said, you deserve this moment. Let's just live it up. Have fun tonight. And he came out with, obviously, he said, I was more nervous for this game than any other game, but he came out and just contributed, and it's nothing new to us because we see it every day in practice. And so to see him come out and be able to actually show it on the floor, I think is just a testament to the hard work that he's put in and all the changes that he has made to his game, and he's just gotten better with time. So
how would you describe not only the injection of Nick into the games now, but kind of this whole off season and this season with Nick, because he's one of you, and obviously there's NCAA sanction. It's like, what is this? And now Nick's back, and he's this injection of life into this team. So emotionally, what's it been like for the team?
Anytime you add a hardworking, gritty kind of player and a pretty elusive player offensively at the same time, I mean, he's pretty dynamic in what he brings to the game. We're just excited to have him back, and it was really hard last year for all of us to watch different things that he had to go through, and then for the program to have to kind of understand and maneuver and deal with these sanctions. That's not easy for any team to go through, but we 100% have this guy's back, and we know what he can bring to the floor and what he can bring to the team, and the true person that Nick really is. And so we're just so happy to have him. I think it's not just going to be this game that he'll make significant contributions. He's going to help us all year.
BYU basketball senior forward center, captain of the team, Luke Worthington, with us on BYU Sports Nation in Studio B the day before BYU Utah. Let's turn our attention to the Utes. What's the scouting report overall on this version of Utah?
I think first and foremost, this is going to be a different game. It's going to be a physical game. They have some big dudes, and I think they have some things they're trying to figure out. They've dealt with a few different changes to the point guard position, a couple of transfers, some interesting things there. But really, I mean, it's a rivalry game, so it's going to be physical from the get-go, but they are a physical team. So on top of that, we're just going to need to be able to match their physicality. It's not that we haven't played athleticism, because we have. We've played against, Nevada and different teams who are maybe quick and athletic, but as far as just kind of tough, I would say this is a team that's really going to try and bang around and really have a serious presence.
What does this game mean to you as kind of a BYU-Utah import to the rivalry, if you will, from Wisconsin?
It means a lot, because people talk about this stuff all year. You can have a big win, but ultimately you're going to have to hear about this stuff. That's why you play as even harder almost in these Utah State, Utah Valley, whoever it is in state, because you're going to have to listen to people talk about it. So it just adds a little fuel to your fire. And, it's important to this program. It's important to the fans, and it's even more important to us. So we want to beat them.
Luke, it's always great to have you in studio. We appreciate the insight you bring as a captain and the clarity to what's happening within BYU basketball. Let's give you as much BYU Sports Nation karma as we both can muster.
Yeah, you said they have a bunch of bigs, so I see a lot of playing time for you tomorrow.
The win, yeah. Well, look, the coach trusts Luke to play defense in a physical matchup, that's for sure. So take that karma, go and enjoy it, Vivint Smart Home Arena. And have you signed our new flag?
I believe I have.
Yes, okay.
That's 3 in a row where
I'm just making sure.
they've signed. Yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Maybe like a list or something.
He was one of the first, I believe.
Somewhere.
From Media Day? Yeah, maybe from Media Day.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway,
Okay, sweet.
happy birthday to my dad.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Absolutely. Thanks, Luke.
Yep. Thank you.